Yeah, here's another video. Today's gonna this video is actually double upload for today, but this is gonna be pretty special because if you've seen the other video, you'll know that well, if you haven't, let me explain. So 20 years ago, a company called ToyBiz used to own the Marvel Legends line, and they went bankrupt in around 2007, I believe. And I was on eBay the other day, and I found this lot of the entirety of Wave 9 from ToyBiz and the very first Build-A-Figure that ever existed from the Marvel Legends line. So I have the whole wave with me right now. It's right, you just can't see it, but I'm gonna go through every figure, kind of give my 2 cents on them, and then we'll move on to, of course, the big Build-A-Figure himself. But characters that came in this wave were, first off, Bullseye. Now, Bullseye is probably my least favorite of them all, but that's not to say he's bad. It's just his face is a little ugly. Kind of ugly like me, so... But, I mean, yeah, that's fun. But I gotta say that one of the things I noticed is how the proportions of these figures are very different compared to modern-day Marvel Legend figures. They're way more, I guess... I don't know what you describe them as. I guess whatever you take it as, but... this is... The paint on this figure, though, is just... like, it looks like it's customized, because if you look, it's like a white with like a black like wash or gray wash over it. It looks really nice. That's something I do like about ToyBiz's figures, is that they had just these really great painting skills. The articulation is also very different on a lot of these figures. They have the standard ball joint head, though, the standard crunch, the forward, the swivel here, the bend, but they had articulated fingers. Can you imagine that? That is something you don't see anymore. He's got the waist swivel, bend, his knee, his wrist hinges and whatnot, swivel here, bend. And then he has toe articulation, which is something else that's not on today's figures. You do get ankle pivot, and of course, you can go up and down with your ankles. But that's Bullseye. Really great figure. I like the painting. Next figure I want to talk about is this guy, Deathlock. Now, I don't know much about Deathlock. I believe he's somewhere in the X-Men. I don't know. You can correct me if I'm wrong. But this is honestly a really... even though I don't even know who this character even is, I gotta say, the painting on this figure is just crazy. Like, it has, like, this really nice, like... just this nice little, like, finish on it that makes it look glossy and cool. Just look at that head sculpt. That is just awesome, dude. Like, that is just something you don't see anymore. Not to say the Hasbro ones are bad, but golly, is that amazing? Like, look at that. That's just crazy. He has a little bit of trouble standing. Well, now he doesn't, but like, you can tell that his legs are kind of warped. So you kind of have to like stand him kind of in a specific way, like that or something. But he does come with this gun thing. It's pretty cool. It just kind of it doesn't really snap in, but it has like a little port that goes into, and then you wrap his articulated fingers. But his articulation speaking of articulation, is the same as his, where he's got the ball joint head, but he does have like this little extra like swivel at his chest, the ab crunch, swivel, no forward movement though. The articulated, not individually articulated, but his fingers articulated. That he doesn't swivel. I think this is I'm assuming this might have been, I don't know. I don't know. The seller didn't really mention anything about his legs, but I don't really care. I mean, he's not gonna. I can't really pose him because his feet are kind of weird. But yeah, he's got bend. That does have pivots. He also has a swivel at the calf, but a great figure nonetheless. I mean, this is just so cool to have in my collection, even though I have no idea who this character really is. He kind of looks like Cyborg from DC. If you want DC toy reviews, I guess I'll do that. But hopefully I can get him to stand. If he falls over, I'm just gonna leave him. Yeah, just leave him. Whatever. Knock it down too. Next character, Nightcrawler. Now, I had originally thought of picking up the Hasbro one, but buying it on eBay is not the cheapest. So when I saw this guy with the lot, I was like, and then I knew that this was part of the same wave. I was like, yeah, I'm getting this. But yeah, this is honestly, I don't even think I need the Hasbro one. This one is really good. Like, I always see people like saying like, this one, it's not as, this Hasbro one's better. I'm like, I don't know if I'd say that. I mean, this is honestly really great. I mean, sure, I probably would prefer him to have a sword because he didn't come with a sword. He actually doesn't even come with a sword, even if you get him packaged and everything. But this, in my opinion, is a really great figure. He probably has the most articulation out of any of the figures that I have from this. But like, he's got like his individually articulated fingers besides his thumbs. His toes are individually articulated, like it bends like at both of them, and then it bends, and then they individually bend. He's got individual bend at the back. But he looks awesome, dude. Like, this is just so cool. I like the proportions of him. I feel like the proportions of the ToyBiz honestly work perfectly for Nightcrawler, because Nightcrawler, I always picture him to be skinnier and just look, more agile. Also, his tail has like a wire in it, so it's bendy, so that's pretty awesome in my opinion. That's definitely a plus, so you can get it into pretty cool poses. But yeah, I'm gonna leave you standing if you don't want to stand. Awesome. Next figure is behind the scenes stuff is War Machine. Now this one, he's definitely not gonna stand. Even if you try, you just will not. I mean, I have gotten him to stand before, but I'm not gonna spend 100 years trying to get him to stand. But another really great figure, besides the fact that he can't stand. But honestly, this looks like a War Machine that I could honestly keep without even having to buy a Hasbro one. I probably will still buy the Hasbro one, but this is a great War Machine. I'm excited to see how he stacks up against my Iron Man, which is in the storage unit right now. So I can't compare anything. That just sucks. But one thing that really is cool is that he has a removable mask, which honestly, I don't know what I prefer, the interchangeable heads or the removable masks. I don't know. But that is a neat feature in my opinion. It actually sits on pretty well. Well, I say that and then it doesn't stay on, but it really does. See, there you go. He also has a cannon. He's supposed to have another one, but I guess he didn't have it. I don't know what happened to it. I mean, I don't really care. I always, he always just has one, in my opinion. But this is like on like a bend, not really a bendy wire, but it's on like a rubbery wire, and you stick it in here. So that's cool. It also, I like the look of it. It looks like a really cool, thing. The painting is definitely more basic, I'd say. But I do like how the metallic comes out, the silver. Like I said, it's really hard to get him to stand. You kind of have to fiddle with it a little bit, and because like his legs don't really stay in place. Let's see, there we go. But I gotta say, but his articulation is the same. Head moves. He's only got like one ball joint at his torso right here. He's got a good bend. Yeah, I'm not really gonna go through articulation. I mean, it's the same thing as the other characters. A little more stiffer though for some reason, which if his joints are a little stiffer, shouldn't the figure be able to stand better? but it doesn't matter. Nonetheless, though, great figure. Next is Professor X, which is probably not necessarily my favorite of the whole bunch, but it's still cool. I definitely prefer the Professor X I already have, but this one is a good, like, I guess if I a side one, this is good to have, like as a spare. But this is a great looking Professor X. He has very shiny bald head. There's a little scuffing on there, like paint scuffing. This chair is really nice, but for some reason the side of it is gone, but I don't really care. But I really like this. This actually rolls. Also, he tabs into the chair itself. Like, let me show you what I mean by that. Like, there's these little ports, and you just shove them in there. He also has it on his feet. This is a nice, I really like the way the chair looks. It's nice and detailed. It's like more of a modern take on, Professor X. I guess you could say it's a movie Professor X if you want to take it as that. But yeah, I really like this. He's supposed to come with a Cerebro thing, but in the pictures it didn't have it, but I really don't care. I mean, this is not my main display Professor X. I mean, I'll definitely have it on display, but it's not like the one I specifically will be like, oh, this is the one I specifically have. But his articulation is the same as the other characters with maybe a little bit less, but I really don't feel like taking him out of the chair. Oh yeah, he also has ports at the bottom here, if you can kind of see him right there. But yeah, awesome. Only figure that can stand. Next, which is honestly probably my favorite of all the small ones besides the Build-A-Figure. Probably this one and the next one I might show. Or probably him, Nightcrawler, Doctor Strange, Nightcrawler, and next character I'll show off. My favorite. Honestly, all of them are great. I mean, I don't know if I really have a favorite. Well, besides, Bullseye, but Bullseye's still great. But this Doctor Strange is really cool. Honestly, if you have this Doctor Strange, you're lucky, and I'm lucky too to have this Doctor Strange. I actually realized he's shorter than some of the characters, like even Bullseye's kind of slouched, but he's actually shorter than some of the characters that I still have, like the regular, even the standard size characters. He's shorter than a lot of them, which is weird. His cape is really cool. Like, I love the painting on it. It's like this weird rubbery material that's very flexible, and I like how big it is. It makes it look cooler. It gives it a stylized look. I really like the painting on it. Like I said, it's like a nice wash. You can actually take it off if you want to. So get a better look at Doctor Strange. This is the head's. The head is pretty cool. I gotta say, it's a nice figure. Really nice figure. This arm right here doesn't really come down a lot. I don't know if that's like because this one comes all the way down. I'm not sure. That's probably just the way. I think the way the sculpt is, it kind of prevents it from going all the way down. But I really don't care. I mean, I mean, he's always gonna be like in a pose on my shelf. But this is cool. He doesn't have as much as articulation. I don't even think he has a swivel at his waist. It's like glued. But he has really nice, but he's really nice looking. I really don't care. I mean, if I can just get him in a pose like this and maybe get his legs like that or something, then I'm good to go with my Doctor Strange. I might pick up the Hasbro one, which is basically reminiscent of this one. But this one is a good... Honestly, I wouldn't even mind if I never got that one and just kept this one, because this one is really good. A little short, but really good. He can stand. The character with the biggest cape can stand. And the last character... Yeah, I'd save Hulk for last. Of course I did. But this is the first appearance Hulk. Now, little fun fact, a little nerdy fun fact. Hulk was actually originally gray in his very first issue because I think it was something with the way the comic book printed. Well, Stan Lee initially wanted him to be gray, but the way it, I guess it printed the color, like the shade of the gray was different, so he went with the green, which So if the gray was stayed right, then the Hulk would have been like this for the rest of his life. But yeah, I think it's good that he kind of ditched it. But I wouldn't say that's bad. I like kind of like how he looks like Frankenstein, which is the look that they were going for him. And also one thing I noticed about this figure is he has like, I don't know if you can see this on camera, but he has like these green highlights throughout the figure, which is cool. I appreciate that. There's not much else to say, I guess. His pants are like purple, but with like a blue highlight as well. He's got articulated thumbs, so that's cool. His pointer fingers are articulated, but the rest of his fingers aren't. And also they have like different sculpts. Like this one's more of like a fist, and this one's more of like an open hand. Also, this is more of like a, I guess, I don't know what you call that, but yeah, not much else to say about this. It's a good figure. I mean, it looks good next to the Hulk that I recently reviewed. Oh, just the camera a little bit. This one. Now, figure you've probably all been waiting for. Well, the Build-A-Figure. Now, who is the Build-A-Figure, you may ask? Well, for those of you who know the Fantastic Four, you probably know who this Build-A-Figure is. Or really just know Marvel in general. Now, this was the very first Build-A-Figure that ever existed. I have to stand him. He doesn't stand very well. There you go. The Planet Eater himself, Galactus. Now, this figure is just... wow. Is this, like, just such a cool thing to have in my collection. If you're wondering how tall he is, he's about 14.5 inches to 15 inches. He's very tall. He's the biggest Marvel Legend I own. He doesn't stand very well. It might be because he's a little top heavy, but I honestly don't care. I mean, he's gonna be leaning up against he's gonna be on the back of a wall, so that'll be good. But yeah, this is just I don't even know how to describe this figure. It's got this weird kind of joint here. It's like it's not really like a crunch. It kind of just goes back and forth. I don't know how to describe it, but the face, the head sculpt on the figure looks awesome. I love the painting on it. I like the metallic looking blue on it. It just looks awesome. The feet, legs look awesome. Arms and hands look awesome. Just the figure overall is just awesome. Like, this is, for it being the very first Build-A-Figure ever, this is probably the best Build-A-Figure out there. Well, besides the other Build-A-Figure I have, the Gladiator Hulk, but these definitely, I don't even know which one I could choose to be my favorite, because both of them are just so good. And here's the thing that's really sad about Build-A-Figures now, they don't come as big anymore. Not to say that they're bad, but I really wish Hasbro would start going back to these really big ones, because if we're being real here, just having these big Build-A-Figure, I mean, that's what made the Build-A-Figure idea so awesome, because they were huge. They were, they took up good shelf space. They made, the characters look puny. Like, compared to just like a standard character, they look small. Now, one thing to know is that Hasbro is releasing their own Galactus, the HasLab one specifically. It's a lot taller than this one, but honestly, I don't feel like paying all that money for that one. I honestly am happy with just the ToyBiz one, and I gotta say, one of the best figures I own in my collection. And honestly, all these figures are such a treat to have, because I get to have a piece of basically the history of this whole toy line that I love to collect in my collection. And now buying this also tells me that I need to get more shelf space and I need a bigger room. But yeah, that's going to conclude today's video, or the second of today's video. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this awesome lot. I may have another video tomorrow, because there is another figure that is coming tomorrow. So be prepared for that. Hopefully it does come in tomorrow. They don't delay it again. But like they did with Hulk. But yeah, I'll see y'all, I guess tomorrow.